Veterans Day. Veterans Day is upon us, and I would be remiss and probably not a very good history teacher if I did not take the time to give you a brief history of Veterans Day. Now, November 11th is Veterans Day, and it will always be on November 11th. And here is the reason why. Okay, so the Great War, also known as World War I, also known as the War to End All Wars, because it was horrible from 1914 to 1918. The United States got involved 1917 through 1918. Europe was embroiled, and y'all, that is a whole nother Vena Teaches episode. I mean, that's several, because we got a lot of stuff going on, but I want to talk to you about Veterans Day. So towards the end of the war, in a nutshell, Miss Everett, we like to do nutshell versions. Germany, the carnage is too much. The onslaught of endless numbers of American soldiers coming in, they knew that it was over, but they really didn't want to concede a lot. By concede, I mean, you can surrender two ways. You can surrender with conditions, and you can surrender without conditions. When you surrender with conditions, you say, I'll surrender if blah, 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 blah. If you surrender without conditions, you surrender, say, okay, give up, whatever, whenever. Okay. The carnage was so bad. This is one of those wars. 8.5 million just military casualties alone. That does not include civilian and everything else. They wanted the carnage to stop, but both sides weren't quite ready to negotiate the settlement. What do you get to keep, Germany? What do we get to take, Germany? What do we need to do, Austria-Hungary? What do we need to do, Ottoman Empire? There was not time. So what they decided to do was have an armistice. And an armistice, A-R-M-I-S-T-I-C-E, is a ceasefire. Let's stop, no more. We're going to stop the fighting, the physical fighting, until we come to an agreement. So an armistice is decided upon by the Germans and the Allies and the Americans, okay, part of that whole group, because hammering out a treaty, y'all, they don't just come in like that. But a lot of times while you're hammering out a treaty, people are dying. So let's stop the carnage. Now, I will say, while they were hammering out the armistice and waiting for it to go into effect, several people died, because you battle until the time. Well, they wanted to come up with a time that everybody could remember. This is 1918. And, there is no internet. There is no texting. There is none of that to say, hey, by the way, they have to get messages to the front line to cease fire, stop fighting. Okay, because if you declare an armistice and both sides agree, then someone gets killed or there's a battle outside of that whole thing could blow up in your face. So they wanted to give the time for everybody to know, but they kind of wanted to make it, symbolic thing too. So this is November. So on 11/11, November 11th, at 11 a.m., on the 11th minute, so at 11/11, on 11/11, okay, armistice, ceasefire, stop. That's why it's always on November 11th. Now, come home from war, 1918, more troops are coming home by 1919. Woodrow Wilson says, hey, this Armistice Day, it needs to be a holiday. We need to celebrate with the war is over. That was the war to end all wars. I mean, we know But anyway, the war to end all wars, we need to celebrate. We need to honor these people, these men that fought, the women that were over as the nurses, because women were not part of the military really. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So, but Armistice Day begins on November 11th. But then, after World War II and the Korean War or the Korean conflict, we're not getting all mixed up on words. Doesn't really matter, because the valiant heroes and the warriors and the military fought wherever it is. They deserve our respect. So after that, I believe it was 1954-ish, changes to Veterans Day to support all the veterans who've ever fought for our great country. Now, y'all get tickled at this, because I kind of get tickled at this. There was some in 1968-ish, I think, some kind of uniform holiday for federal employees, which I totally get. They wanted to take the 4 big holidays that are non-religious, I guess, and add them, create the day so that the federal employees would have a long weekend. So make them, it's going to be on a Monday, like Columbus Day is always on a Monday. Labor Day is always on a Monday. It's the third Monday of the whatever month. See, those are holidays that are broader in nature. Okay. They tried to streamline Veterans Day into that. Okay. You don't take a holiday, or you don't take a day that has a specific date and change it to celebrate at another time. It didn't work well. All of these states, after they did this, they wanted to celebrate, the federal government wanted to celebrate Veterans Day on like October 25th instead of November 11th. And all these states like, no, thank you. I think we'll just do it on November 11th because that's the day. That's like saying, you know what, we don't think July 4th is on a great day this year. Let's maybe celebrate July 4th on the 13th. Yeah. So you don't do that. So it got changed back. It is going to be on November 11th. Now listen, if November 11th falls on Saturday or Sunday, people always give you the next day off or the Friday off, and hopefully we're using that time to honor our veterans. But that is how we got 11/11. It will always be on November 11th. And I want to take this time to say thank you. Thank you to all of our veterans and all of our active military personnel, the men and women in uniform, my friends, my former students, people, of course, that I do not know that have fought and spent their precious time and some their blood to keep our country free. And I would also be remiss to not thank their families, because their loved one is off at war or off on duty or off serving this country, be it stateside or overseas. And they are here keeping the home fires burning. And to you, I say thank you. Every day should be Veterans Day as far as I'm concerned, because we do live in the greatest country in the world. This country gives opportunities like no other, and it is because of your sacrifice day in and day out that we are able to do these things. So again, thank you. I hope you learned something about Veterans Day and how it got here, and that 11/11 on 11/11, it will always be the ceasefire of the Great War. And the war to end all wars, we know part 2 is coming, but also turns to Armistice Day, and now is Veterans Day. I hope for all the veterans there and active military that you have a wonderful day, and that you enjoy the bounties of this country, and that you do know that you have our sincere gratitude for all that you've done for all of us. Thank you so much.